this moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Okay, we're in session 3 of Young People Nation, and we're back with Mr. Brian Levi Levins. How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, Levi is a nickname I appreciate. I know the first time we met, when I was younger, my last name is Levins, right?
Yeah.
So somebody started calling me Levy, and it turned into Levi. And particularly when I was down at a place called the Bridges of Hope, there's some people don't even know my name's Brian, but most of the circles that I associate with nowadays is Brian, and it.
Okay.
And it's. I think I was looking for a different. I didn't care what people called me as long as they didn't call me Brian back then.
Okay.
See, I was trying to be something else.
Oh, boy. We're going to unpack that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought about that when you said that, because I remember that they asked me, and this is when I was at a real spiritual bottom. They said, well, do you go by any nicknames? I said, well, they used to call me Levi. And they started calling me that at this place that I lived for a while. And it was a different persona, different feel. But it was because I didn't like Brian. I didn't like.
Oh, you didn't like who Brian was.
That's right. I'll be anything but Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Let me start fresh right here. Right? Let me start fresh right here. So I wanted to tell you that story. That came out of a really deep depression. The end of alcohol and drug abuse, years of that, a divorce, a lot of things, lost several loved ones and some friends. So there's a lot of things that happened at that period of time. And when they asked me, do you go by something else? I was like, here's my opportunity.
Okay.
Here's my opportunity.
Okay.
And that's all they called me for 2 years. I was down there and
Right.
I worked down there and volunteered down there a little bit too. But the story behind that actually was because I was so depressed and wanted to be anything but myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the truth in that.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
nothing
okay
like...
with Brian Levins today. I'm okay with Brian. You can call me just about anything. I'm okay with me. And,
yes.
I wasn't at the
Because
time.
you know who you are, right?
I do. Oh, I absolutely do. He's revealed that in such a powerful way. Right?
Yes.
It's not all that stuff I thought it was.
Yes. And for those who are listening and did not listen to session 1 and 2, please go back and listen to those sessions. Brian works with Pyramid Health and the Bluff community, and he has a long history working with corporate world. But one thing I really admire about you, Brian, is that you step back and you realize that you need to take care of your mental health.
Yeah.
And so thank you for what you're doing in the community, because there are areas you can reach people that some of us are not going to be able to reach because we have not been down that path.
That's right.
Okay, so and in talking about that, there are different generations even sitting here at this table.
Right.
The importance of the generations.
Yeah.
Okay, so or knowing the generation, so your family lineage. How important is that? Because you've talked about your father and, alcoholism. Was it in his father?
It was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it went back.
The best I can guess, I'm third or fourth generation alcoholic. My father died from alcoholism. He was a very bad drug addict too. He was 51 when he died. He had a sister, 2 sisters actually, and a brother. 4 out of 6 who died from alcoholism or the effects of alcoholism.
Wow.
And one was a Catholic nun. Okay, so when we talk about it not discriminating, right?
Oh, yeah.
Alcoholism, addiction, depression, suicidal tendencies, those things, they can creep into anybody.
Yes.
But knowing your history. So my mother's Italian. My father was Irish.
Yes.
Didn't have a lot of mental illness or addiction or anything really on my mother's side.
Right.
I think because they were so grounded in their faith. I think that they practice things on a daily basis to be transparent and to do the right things with that. On the other side of that, the Irish, right, long line of alcoholics. And addiction and secrets, right, and pain, right, and abuse. And there's a lot of things that really, really, the dark stuff, right. And it was, and they had this thing where you just keep that in the closet,
right?
Okay, you keep that hidden. And I think a lot of that was the secrets. You can't have secrets, right, and things that go against you or against your principle, and be okay with it. You've got to use some substance to kind of numb yourself from that reality, right, or the reality that you might be in.
Right.
So several of my aunt and uncles were alcoholics, died from that disease and addiction. And I had a couple of aunts that were very, very, they struggled with mental illness, terrible, terrible depression. And they were crippled by it.
So we do our children, grandchildren such a disservice by not acknowledging where we are and that it stops with us. I remember my mother about sickness and people dying early. She said it stopped with her.
Yeah.
She told us that.
She broke the cycle.
She did. She told us that.
Yeah.
She said it's stopping with me.
Yeah. She claimed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for the rest of us as our siblings now, just like you said, now you don't just stand back and don't do nothing. Okay, I need to eat a proper way. There's a way. I need to know my body. These things I need to know about myself. And that's the same thing with our family lineage.
That's right.
What did my parents deal with? What happened?
Yeah.
And those secrets, because I know for my parents there was some things that was just not said. You didn't talk about it.
That's right.
That's what happened, and you leave that alone.
That's right.
As our generations are getting, our younger generation, no, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Like I sit down and talk to my daughters. This is what they're very transparent.
Yeah.
And when they tell me stuff, like, there was some violations that happened with both of them. Why didn't you tell me and your dad? Well, we were scared you and dad would go to jail, which they was probably right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because the transparency of it is that I love my children and you're protective of your children.
Responsible and protective.
So
That's
when
right.
there's something that happens with them from a trusted area, that's a problem.
You better believe it, and it's hard to when something like that is exposed.
Yes,
right. The family secrets. Right?
Yeah.
I think everybody's got a little bit of that, and things that they want to keep, hidden. Right.
Yeah.
But that's a burden.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have secrets today. Right. We don't have any secrets in our family. Right. So we're open. Right.
Yes.
And I think when you start talking about this stops with me. Right. I'm an alcoholic and drug addict in recovery. Okay, that's much different than my father and his, my uncle, and I had some examples of that. Thank God. The two brothers of my father's that survived, right, were active members of Alcoholics Anonymous. They sought treatment and therapy, and they were healthy, right. So you got to understand there's a reason why every time we go see a clinician, they ask for our family history.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are they asking for that?
Yeah.
Well, they're asking because it's a sure sign of what you're going to experience or things you may struggle with, right? And if it's mental illness, it's mental illness.
Yes.
But we don't want to just bring the alarm bells out to that one, right? But if you had a history of heart disease, you would do everything in your power to make sure your children right, were aware of that, okay? And they took steps to prevent them from having heart disease. Do we do the same thing with mental illness?
We should.
We should. But do we, right? I think that's the question. You guys are doing it here. Right?
Yes.
You're doing it from this platform.
Yes.
But as a society, are we doing that? Are we just as conscious, right, about the family history of this illness, this disease, and are we taking measures to protect our children, our loved ones, our siblings, our parents as they age? Are we doing those things as rigorously or as with as much effort as we do with, say, heart disease or cancer or diabetes or whatever it might be. So I think that's what you guys are doing right now. You're bringing this awareness to it, right?
And this came out of our journey of recognizing that we needed counseling.
Yeah.
Because we didn't deal with grief properly.
Right. Yeah, loss.
That was our problem.
It's a big one for me too.
Grief. That's what our counselor, after all what we dealt with, you all haven't grieved properly.
That's right.
Like you said, it's
did
still
everything
a
else
process.
but that.
Yes, yes, very active in the church and in communities. People call on us. We're there. We just going.
Doesn't
and
discriminate.
then when things start happening, and the voice of the Holy Spirit say, "I need you all to stop.
Yeah.
Step back."
That's right.
And this is what's really going on with the two of you.
Be still, be quiet, right?
Yes.
But the inner voice, the only way that you can hear that is with connection, right?
Yes.
And with that relationship. We talked about that earlier. And then you have to do your part.
That's right.
Being aware of something and not doing anything about it is useless, right?
That's right.
When God reveals to us what we need to do, then it's our responsibility.
Yes.
Just like today, right? This isn't something I probably put on the top of my list, okay?
Hello.
to talk about my mental illness or bouts of depression or anything else, right? It's probably not something I'm going to put on the top of the list. But I know that he led me to do this, right? And I know that this is his will.
Grateful.
Yes. I mean, a chance encounter with you a few years ago.
Yes, yes.
After a relationship that we had a long time ago.
Yes.
And we had a really strong bond.
Yes.
There's something that connected us immediately, spiritually,
yes.
that we can't really understand.
Yes.
Years later, he brings Donna back in my life, and we're sitting and we're talking. I was like, oh my Lord, and it led to other discussions.
Yes.
Because I had just left. I was just getting back to Augusta at the time. I remember opening up about some of my experiences.
Yes.
And
right there in the office.
Now look what God's doing.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It's not by chance, like you said.
No
God is very intentional.
No coincidences. I was thinking about something on the way over here. We're talking about, everybody having this and their families and everybody and not discriminating. But when I was driving from Grovetown over here, all I saw were these large piles of debris. Right. And I looked, and almost every house has a large pile of trash.
Yeah. Unpack it. Come on. Yes.
So, this storm that came through here, okay, right, and all of its power and everything that put us into that quiet mode without our technology, but it also changed the landscape, right?
Yes.
And it changed the landscape for all of us.
Right.
There was no difference. The thought I had coming over here was, look, everybody's got their pile of trash. Right?
Yes.
Right.
And now it's visible to everybody, right? So in an analogy,
yes.
right, everybody does have that pile of trash. Most of the time it's not as noticeable. It's not out by the side of the road, right? So what can we do, right, symbolically, right, to kind of embrace that that debris field, that pile of trash, right, that we all have, and I had thoughts that they're still sitting there. Right. And there's some that have taken measures to kind of clean up a little bit, but it's going to be there for a while. It's going to be a reminder. Right. So I think we have to have that with our own. Yeah.
I'm feeling that.
We have to have that. Yeah. With our own pile of trash, and because it's exposed, now it's not as hard to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's out there. Everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So once it's there, right, and it's visible to everybody, probably not as hard for our pride and ego to get in the way that we can actually do something about it.
Yes.
Everybody's got their pile of trash. It's visible right now. And symbolically, if we just take that and say, you know what, the shame I have, the guilt I have for doing this, right? The loss, the grief, right? The abandonment, the hurt, the anger, the resentment, all that stuff we're talking about. If we can just get rid of it with that pile of trash, everybody has an opportunity to do that now. And it was a good thought because all of a sudden I realized everybody's got one.
Yeah.
It didn't just hit my house.
Yes.
It didn't just hit y'all's house, right? Or it didn't just miss my this person, right? Everybody was impacted by it. So we're all impacted the same way by life and how we deal with it and what we do to treat it.
That is so good.
And what's funny about it is, even though you have that pile of trash, some pile of trash was bigger than others.
That's right.
And stop wearing it as a badge. Take that badge off.
Yeah.
To get rid of it. And instead of holding on to it.
Goes back to letting go, doesn't it?
Yes. It becomes a negative pride.
Ooh, now you're on to the next subject about the danger of pride and ego.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous area.
Yeah,
and society demands.
Right. Yeah. We're supposed to be a certain way, right? And we have to present ourselves a certain way, right? If we follow the leads of those that get a little bit more limelight than we do, then it's all about how we look, what we say, what we ride in, what we live in, right? How much money we make, right? The impact or the power that we have over other people in our positions. It's all dictated by that.
But the more money you make, sometimes you can be more miserable.
That's right. I was. I had everything. There was a period in my life where, if you looked at it, okay, I was managing this institution, okay, and had kind of climbed the ladder, fell up the ladder a little bit, I think, at the right time, But I was in a position where I had, and we were having a lot of success, right?
Yes.
Some of this stuff just come natural to me, right? God bless him. I got some of that from my father and most of it from my mother, but as far as working with people. But anyway, I had all of that. I had this beautiful Cadillac, a Corvette. I had a truck parked over here. I had a beautiful home and a boat. I had all this stuff, and I was hollow. I wasn't happy. Right now, today, right, it's a struggle financially sometimes. Okay, I created a lot of damage. I'm still working on that, but I don't have any secrets. Right. I can lay my head down and know exactly, what I'm doing. I'm okay with me, so I'm not worried about, I don't have a lot of trash. I don't have a lot of secrets,
That's powerful.
Yeah. So it might be a struggle financially. It might be a struggle, with the little things that life provides, but I'm whole. I'm not hollow anymore. I'm whole and I have a really, really good, healthy relationship with my spouse and with my family.
Yes.
I didn't have that years ago.
I was listening to this song this morning, and I kept playing it all over again, and I was in worship. All of my help comes from the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
All of my help.
All
that I have need of comes from the Lord. All of my help comes from the Lord.
Yeah.
And then as you was talking, what came to me, what does it profit a man to gain everything and his soul empty?
Yeah.
Because you can have all those things, but our souls, our emotions, our soul is our mind, will, and intellect. And if that is empty and we don't take care of that, that's a loss.
So we talk about suicide awareness. Okay.
Yes.
That's right there where you can have all this stuff and it's still not enough.
Yes.
Right? And you're hollow and you've got all these things, these burdens that you carry, this weight, right? Those are the ones, right, that if we don't pick up on the signs, right, if we don't see what they're saying without them saying it, right, and try to intervene a little bit, that's why Robin Williams, like you said earlier, can take his own life. And everybody would imagine he's got everything, right? He's got all the money, he's got all the fame, he's got everything. But he's deep down inside, he's as sick because of whatever burdened him, right?
Yes.
And he wasn't willing to get help,
Yes.
So I think what you were just talking about too, we have to use the things in our life to help us become more aware, but also help us be more connected, right? You said you played that song over and over again.
Yes.
I do that too. Right? I do that too. I find one, right? And it touches me, right?
Yes.
And it moves me. And I play repeat. And Karen thinks I'm nuts, right? But what's happening is it's speaking to me in some way, okay?
Yes.
And it moves me to do something.
Yes.
It moves me. So when I'm moving, there's some action in there,
Yes.
And I have purpose.
Yes.
Okay. So without purpose, right, I'm probably hollow. I probably don't have a lot of drive. Okay.
Yes.
I probably am just okay with status quo. Right. Or I'm trying to get all this stuff and it won't satisfy.
Yes.
Satisfy me.
Yes.
I don't have enough. But when I have purpose, it's okay, right? I'm paycheck to paycheck, right? I got a modest place. I don't have everything that I want. I got everything that I need though.
But you got peace.
I got peace and I'm whole. Right.
Hallelujah.
And I love who I am, right?
Yeah. Oh,
love of
right
oneself.
there. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you get there?
That's rich.
I'm as rich as any man. I'm as rich as any man.
Oh my gosh.
Amen.
I love how you said you didn't like the name Brian because you didn't like Brian. And listen, audience, that speaks to all of us. Knowing who we are, and do you love who you are?
Embracing that.
Yeah, and embracing that. And you're not perfect. You don't look at someone else or look at what this person is doing. That just be content with the person God created you to be.
That's
and
right.
your portion.
Yeah. In the end. Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's something that inevitably we all follow. I don't know how much time we have in this session, but if you think about it, when I say purpose, Okay. I saw something the other day where it talked about how many billions of years this planet's been here, right? And how many millions of years there's been, signs of life and this type of thing. But we're only here for a very brief period of time.
Yes.
Just a speck in time, right?
Yes.
And you've heard people talk about the dash. What does the dash represent between the years, right? But we're in the end, all of us, without escape from it, are going to be at that same point, right? Where nothing that we have matters.
Right.
Yes.
Because where we go, we don't take it with us because we don't need it.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
But in the end, it's going to be relationships.
Right.
It's going to be that relationship with God, who and what I am, how I treat people, the relationship with my family, the things that mean a lot, right?
Yes.
Inevitably,
Yes.
we all are faced with that. So what does it look like getting there? What does it look
Wow.
like getting there?
Where we are at the end, and that is powerful to end on.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, this is great. I just love this, man. Yeah, I love it.
I enjoy it too.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much. And again, we always thank God. We always thank our community. We thank God because we could not do this without him. And we thank the supporters, people praying for us, people that is connected with us and that we connect with. Thank you so much. It is a blessing for someone to come up to you and tell you that they listen to your podcast and it has helped them.
Amen.
That is worth it all.
It's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we always like to give out the mental health hotlines. There's a 988 hotline. There's a text 741-741. That's free 24/7 service. There's the NAMI, N-A-M-I. That's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And you can go to their website and reach out by the state that you live in. Also, there's a general community resource number. That's 211. That is a 24/7 service. And also, we just want you to know, if you don't remember any of these numbers, 911, and please do not suffer in silence. Mr. Perry.
Listen. Every cage is not a prison. Every failure is not eternal. Be like water. Continue to flow.
Amen.
This has been Young People Nation, and remember, there's always hope.
Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what he gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by his love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth onto what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.